So you're thinking about buying a green Submariner, but you're not sure which one to buy. Maybe I can help you out. Or maybe you're just one of those guys who likes watching videos about nice watches. I'm one of those guys too. Welcome back to Bark and Jack. I am Adrian, and firstly, happy holidays. I hope you have done all of your shopping because it's getting tight now. That being said, I haven't done any of mine. I actually don't like the color green. Whenever I take a photograph that has something green in it, I always remove the green. But there's something special about the Rolex green. It's a deep, rich, classy green. It feels well thought out, and it's actually a green that I like because it's full of earthy tones, and that makes it very pleasing. And I know what you're thinking. Adrian, how the hell have you got your dirty hands on 3 super hot green Rolexes? Well, that's down to the guys over at Chronext who have trusted me with all of these. Actually, the Kermit's mine. They've only trusted me with the other 2. But they've kindly sponsored this video and lent me these 2 watches. So let's take a look at them. The first one is the Kermit. Actually, first off, for all the boring plums out there who get really triggered when someone calls a Submariner date a Submariner, or a 16610 LV a Kermit. Life doesn't have to be that serious. Watches don't have to be that serious. I personally love the irony of a very prestigious brand like Rolex spending a long time years creating such a highly engineered tool for us to then just call it a little pet name like Hulk, Kermit, Pepsi. Just lighten up. Let me introduce these watches. The first one is the Kermit. This is the OG green watch. This is what everything else is based on. This is the 16610 LV. Next we have the Hulk. This is the 16610 LV. And now we have the new boy, the 12610 LV. Some people are calling this the Starbucks. Some people are calling it the Kermit. Some people are calling it the Cermit, the ceramic Kermit. That's a crap name. I'm just going to call it the new Kermit because that's what it is. Although these are all green Submariners, they are all incredibly different. They are all from different eras, different decades, and so they are very different products. The Kermit was launched in 2003, and it was to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Submariner, launched in 1953. It's quite a special watch because it's the first Submariner to have green as part of its package, but also it was an insight into what is to come in the future. This was the first Submariner to have the maxi dial and maxi hands 7 years before it was going to be launched out to the rest of the Submariner range. The Kermit was discontinued in 2010, and that's when the Hulk took over. The 11610 LV, the green bezel is now ceramic. We now have the Maxi Fact case with the squared off lugs to match the Maxi hands and the Maxi dial. We also have the brilliant updated bracelet, the very solid bracelet with that glide lock extension in the clasp. And then we have the dial, which is obviously green, and it's a green burst. In 2020, the whole Submariner range was updated and the Hulk was discontinued, replaced with the new Kermit, the 12610 LV. With the increased case, we now have the 41mm wide case and the 21mm wide bracelet. The dial is obviously now black. The bezel is the same color, but slightly larger in ceramic. But the biggest difference is the fact that we now have the updated movement, which is far more power efficient and gives us 70 hours of power reserve, up from 48. The price of all of these varies a lot. Obviously, you know watches and it's all down to the whole package and the condition that the watch is in. For example, the Kermit originally sold at retail price for around £4,000, but these now sell for about £14,000. But there's a very rare one called the Flat 4, which is one of the early ones. This has a big Fat 4 on the bezel, and that was manufactured between 2003 and 2004. These things can fetch over £25,000 if they're in good condition and if they're a full set. The Hulk originally sold for about £6,500. Now these sell for about £18,000, and the new Kermit you can get new for £7,650, but it's very hard to get. If you're not a VIP client to the AD, then it's highly unlikely you're going to get one of these watches. You're going to have to look at the pre-owned market, and these go for over £18,000. Green sounds like an odd colour to have on a watch. When you buy a watch, you often think about watches being versatile and be able to wear them with lots of outfits. When the Kermit was on my radar, I was concerned, is this actually going to be something that I can wear as an everyday watch, or is it just going to be something that I can only wear the grey jumper or a white t-shirt? Which doesn't really matter because that's all I wear anyway. Definitely on the Kermit and the new Kermit, The watch is actually really quite subtle. The green is very subtle. It's not all that eye-catching. The Hulk, on the other hand, has that big shiny green dial, which is more eye-catching and isn't as versatile as the others. The best thing to do is check out these watches in real life and see how you feel about the green when you see it in normal, natural sunlight. Luckily, the guys over at Chronix have a service where you can find the watch you want on their website on chronix.com, select it, put it in your basket, and essentially check out. That watch is then yours, but you don't pay for it. You have it sent to your local Chronix boutique and then try it on there without having to part with any money. Check it out in real life, put it on your wrist, see if this is actually the right watch for you. If it is, brilliant. Hand over the money, job done. Watch is yours. If it's not, you can just walk away. Politely walk it, don't just spin around and foxtrot Oscar. If you do find a watch that you want over at Chronix.com, use discount code BarkandJack. If you're spending over £5,000, that will save you money and it also helps the channel out. So the pros and cons from my eyes on all three watches. Firstly, the Kermit. As I said, this is the original green sub. And the green in it, I see as being more of the traditional Rolex green. It's there, but it's subtle, it's earthy, and it's very classy. This one has genuine history, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Submariner. And luckily, this watch has been out for a while, so the hype has died down for the Kermit, meaning it's less common. There isn't so much attention around it. In my eyes, that makes it more appealing, a bit more interesting. Also, the price isn't as ridiculous as the others. The cons, the bracelet is lower quality. This is the old Submariner bracelet and it is nowhere near as good as the current bracelets. The bezel damages relatively easily because it's just painted aluminium and that paint can scratch off quite easily. In my eyes, I quite like that because it makes it feel old and worn, but some people I know don't like that. They like their things to be pristine, so that I do think that is a negative point. This has old caliber 3130 movement. It's not a bad movement, but just in comparison to the modern day, what Rolex is offering now with the 3230 movement, it's just not as refined, it's just not as good. Good things about the Hulk are the fact it has a brilliant bracelet. This bracelet is solid and it has the glide lock clasp. The ceramic bezel, if you like your things to be pristine, then this bezel will not scratch. The negative points for me are the green dial, the blingy green dial. The case shape is contentious. I personally don't like it with the squared off lugs. And lastly, I do find that this is overhyped. There's a lot of attention around this because the new Kermit has come out and because this has recently been discontinued, which in the watch world, that obviously means that the price goes up, sometimes unnecessarily. The new Kermit. Positives, I think, are the fact it has the new case and new bracelet. So now both of these parts I feel are more in proportion, more representative of what the original Submariners looked like. This has a new movement with the increased power reserve of 70 hours and the whole thing is just more energy efficient. I do find, although the green on the bezel is the same as the previous on the Hulk, I do find that the combination of the green bezel and black dial is a classier combo. The downside of this watch is that it's pretty much impossible for us to get at an AD, and it is massively hyped up because it's the new poster boy watch for Rolex, which is why it's impossible to get from an AD and why the prices are where they are. It's also a homage to the original. I'm not even wearing it. It's also a homage. It's a copy of the original. This Kermit is my personal watch and it's always sat within my collection as being the beefy, very modern looking and being my most modern watch that I've owned for a while. But since the new Submariners have come out and since getting hands-on with all of these and comparing them all like this, doing this video, it's really changed how I look at my Kermit. The Kermit now has this air of vintage about it, or certainly an air of being old school. The case is slimmer, it's daintier, it's still beefy, but the case and bracelets are nothing in comparison to what is out now on the new Kermit. I've never been a fan of the Hulk. I've found that squared off maxi case just to be a bit too try-hard. And then with that shiny dial, for me, adds to that try-hard look of the Hulk. And I just feel like it's not a classy watch. The new Kermit, however, I think is amazing. It took me a while to get used to the new proportions, to get used to seeing this slightly, ever so slightly beefier watch. The green bezel I don't think is as classy, as deep, as rich as the original aluminium bezel, but I do think the new Kermit is a stunning watch. If I can be frank with you, I don't think the Hulk deserves to sit alongside the Kermit and the new Kermit. If I had all three of these watches on a tray and the choice to buy any of them at retail price, then I would choose the Kermit, the original one. If that wasn't there, then I would choose the new Kermit. At no point would I consider the Hulk. It's just not on the same level as these other two watches. But that's just my thoughts. That's just my opinions. Let me know. Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think of these three watches and which one is your favorite of these three. Or maybe none of them. Maybe you just don't like the green subs. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you like the style of this video, hit the subscribe button down there and the little bell icon so you get notifications when I drop a new video. Jump over to Chronex and have a little browse and see what you can find over there. There'll be links in the description down below and in that first comment as well. If you're interested in watch accessories and watch articles, jump over to barkandjack.com and check out what we have over there. And if you're on Instagram, give me a follow at barkandjack. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.